All right, hey guys, we have a video for you. We've been meaning to get this out. We're doing our tournament report for the Houston, Texas regional that happened like what 2 weeks ago now, I think. We
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. We were meaning to. We had a lot of scheduling issues, and we've been meaning to get Tyler on as well, who also made top eight, who went with us to that regional. And unfortunately, like we have so many weird timing issues right now that it like I think right now this is the only time we can get together, and unfortunately Tyler I think is asleep or something, so we can't even get him on. But I know he released a video on his Georgia run on his channel, so you can go check that out. I'll try to remember to link it below in the comments or something after I upload this video. But as far as the Houston regional went, the Burn One members that went were myself, Kit, we had Dan, and then Hanson, and
hmm
we'll just kind of go over our runs here and tell you our entire experience. I guess really quick, you guys, going into this like meta, especially with like TRV becoming a thing right after BRO, what were you guys at least expecting before we get into our rounds?
Mushoku, Kanasamari, and TRV.
I mean, yeah, like I'm expecting a lot of like Mushoku and like Hololive at least, like probably mainly Kantamari, but like I'll probably expecting a lot of the other variants as well. Like TRV, like
X-Mari.
not yeah, TRV like not so much. I feel like it's still like it got like some toppings at like Bro, but like there it's still like really low rep. So
It is pretty low rep compared to Hololive and
mhm.
Mushoku. And this was Houston, so it was also before Quince. Moving
Yeah.
forward, I do expect to see a lot of Quince as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, same. I agree. I think one of the big things too that the reason like TRV didn't get as much representation, at least because of the dual laner stuff, is that I think to the wider audience of players, the first time they saw dual laners was like during BRO or after BRO, and I think by then it was almost too late to change your deck. And like I assume a lot of people just prefer the comfort pick of playing a deck they know, even if they think
Yeah.
TRV's way stronger or something, right?
You had to lock in your registrations before BRO, so
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So
And like, oh my god, after playing TRV, because I'll be honest, I kind of like blind queued it. I was like reading it, but I didn't have too many reps on the deck before the actual event. And man, there's actually so much thinking for the deck.
yeah.
Especially in the mirror, fucking. There were 3 TRV players at Houston out of the 82 players,
Well,
and
it,
me and Hanson,
it's
or
three
Hanson and
dual
I, sorry,
laners.
Ryan. 3 dual
Three
laner,
dual
yeah,
laners.
sorry. 3 dual laner decks, and we get the mirror. Like, I was so sad.
that is so painful.
3 out of 82. How? Yeah, but that happened.
All right, I guess we'll just start getting into our rounds here. We'll just go in the order. I guess myself, then Dan, then Hanson. We'll do that order.
Sure.
All right. So round one, I'm actually on. I expected everyone to be on Kana Tamarin for Hololive, but I just locked in Rushia, Corone Rushia, because I didn't know what to bring, and I was like, this deck is just like solid and does stuff, and I know how to play it like through and through. So like I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna lock this in, and then I never had the opportunity to change my deck, so I just went with my list. The only, I think one of the only big differences compared to other lists is I played the I always forget her name. What was the Fox girl's name? Fubuki, yeah, Fubuki. I play one copy of Fubuki because I thought that card was really strong, and it did help me a lot throughout the day. But anyway, my first round was against Onmachi, which is another deck I figured I'd see some amount of representation of, because I think it's a pretty solid tier 2 deck overall, and it's really good at breaking boards. So the entire game, I felt I was like in a really commanding position all game, but me and my opponent, I guess, were playing really slow, and we actually ended up with a double game loss. So the really crappy part about this scenario is that we had to do a judge call earlier during the match because my opponent drew a card by accident after he already used an event earlier off of the Hastia Brainstorm effect, which only activates once per turn. So it only activated the initial event he used, not the second one. And And so we had to call a judge over for that, and it took like 5 minutes or more to resolve. And unfortunately, we went to times and we went to turns. Even though our like damage was really close, I felt like I was like I'm just gonna win this game, no problem. We go to turns. I get my opponent gets a turn. I get a turn. Then it goes to my opponent's turn, and he's taking a very, very long time and doing like I don't think he did this maliciously or anything. Just to make that clear, he was just doing extra things he didn't need to do during his time, because you get turns going 0, 1, 2, 3, and also a 10-minute timer. And he was just doing things he didn't have to do. There was like no reason to play cards he played, because it didn't change the game state at all. And when he started swinging in, I was at 3-1, he was at 3-3. He's swinging with Hastia. I take that he swings in for like a 4 or something. I cancel, and then I take the burn 2, and the burn 2 sticks. And then the judge calls time and says that we get a double game loss immediately. And we're like, what? And we're like, there's not a like exchange in damage or anything. And he's like, nope, just double game loss. And then unfortunately, like, we were both kind of like confused and like, dang, we got a double game loss. What the heck happened? That we packed up, and then after I packed up, I realized that we were supposed to get a time extension. But unfortunately, the judge that handled our thing wrote down the warning for my opponent on the card, but they didn't give us an extension of time. So if we did actually get the extra time, because I flipped over my deck at the end, I would have lived that turn and most likely would have killed my opponent afterwards, because I had Kanata set up with not Kanata, Arusha set up with the climax in hand to shuffle back 12 cards. So that was really unfortunate, but it is what it is. When you play Bushiroad game, you know you can get screwed by the game and also by like random double game loss, I guess. So like I started off the day pretty rough, because getting a double game loss, especially round 1, is like I have to win every game if I'm going to try to make top 8. Like I can't make any more mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are. I will come. I know where you live. But yeah, all right, Dan.
So round 1, I was playing against Contai. I don't know the name of any of the girls. It wasn't the main girl.
Was it Stocksoul Door?
I don't think so. It was like some blue level 1, and I don't even remember the top end.
Oh, good luck. I don't even know what the blue level 1 game is.
And it wasn't like the top deck 4 that changes into 1/1. Like it was wild. Like I haven't seen like half of these contact cards before, so like I didn't really remember much of it. Because I'm on dual laners TRV, so it kind of went like the way I expected it, into a deck that couldn't really do anything about anything I'm doing. Right. I just like got stock, and then killed him while he was 2, because Contai didn't really have anything particularly strong that could stop me from doing what I'm doing. Yeah, that's kind of it. It was kind of like a rogue Contai deck, and Contai itself already is pretty low tier. So I don't think there's much to say about that.
All right, Hanson.
All right, so round 1, I played against Mushoku Tensei. And yeah, that deck, like I remember round 1, like my opponent canceling like a bit like early on, and that's like actually really tough for Mushoku Tensei, like for like TRV, because because you only swing twice a turn, like every damage kind of counts, and like if your opponent's like gets like some good cancels early on, it can be like really tough to like catch up with like damage parity. So like it got to like a point that like I was like mid 3s and my opponent's was like mid 2, and I had to go in. And I see my opponent have like one of their like rest counters in their clock. So, and I was like, does my opponent like have like another rest counter or something? But also like they're like pretty compressed, like mid 2. I also can't like afford to like play around it. So like I did my stuff, fronted was my Mikey, and like yeah, my opponent plays like 2 rest counters, and like
yeah, that's my locals, by the way. I got from there.
Uh-huh.
I told him to run that second counter.
Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. Like he probably would have lived without the rest counter anyways, but like I
No, he would have died.
yeah,
All me.
true. You're right. Yeah, and
Mhm.
that was that.
What was that?
Wait, you lost your first round, Hanson?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
He
I didn't
did.
remember that.
But
I
he
thought
went.
he won.
He
But
he lost round one and then went undefeated.
what a god! Wow,
Yeah.
spoilers, man. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
We already knew he made top 8.
My round 2 was this hold on, versus Bang Dream. It was choice
Mhm.
pants. I believe the player was Tristan. I believe he is from Texas. I always forget because whenever I go to these events, everyone just comes from different states all the time, so I don't remember where they live. I'm pretty sure he was a local.
He is Dallas.
Yeah. I've met him a few times. He's a cool guy. Um,
Mhm.
our game was, I guess, for the most part, pretty standard. Well, actually, no, I'm lying. It wasn't that standard. In the beginning of the game, we both were doing some weird thing where we were just like triple canceling at 0, and we're just like, okay, what the heck's going on? But then it finally got to a point where I was basically canceling 1 to 2 times a turn, and then he was only canceling like 1 a turn at most. And so he's just started eating a lot of damage. And then unfortunately, there was a point where there was nothing he could really do, where he was stuck with 2 cards left in his deck, and he tried really hard to figure out a way to get those last 2 cards out of his deck so he could refresh, because I already set up a Rushia board. We set up, or I was going into a turn to drop Rushia. And then what happened was, since he had 2 cards left in his deck, I played Rushia, did the Rushia combo, was able to shuffle 4 clean more back in, so he had 6 clean cards left in his deck. And then I also play a level 0 bottom deck bomb that also on play, if you reveal the top card of your deck, if it's I forget the fact. It's like if you have a level 1 or higher character, or is it a Hololive character? I don't. Oh no, it's level 1 or higher character on top of your deck. I could pick one of my opponent's characters that are level 1 or lower and get -1 level. So I bottom decked one of his level 1s to basically create 7 free damage for me. So I was able to push like 10 damage that turn or more, and which put him to like mid 3s, I believe. And at that point, it was almost unrecoverable for him since I was low 2s. And after that, it was just like 1 or 2 more turns, and then unfortunately he just died. And that's kind of like the sad part of when you run into Rushia. If you're unable to mill out, sometimes you get into a scenario where they're just like, instead of summoning a character, I'm going to shuffle 4 back in and get a bunch of free damage this turn for like a huge tempo swing, I guess. But yeah, it is what it is for him. But it was a good game overall, though.
My second round, I played against Batman Ninja, and this guy was like full Batman Ninja costume with the halo, fuck you, like energy blade for some reason. Also a Texas person, but most of the game went as expected. He did play Gorilla Grodd, but seeing as how I only attacked twice a turn, I never fronted it. Um,
Can't you
but
actually afford to front it anyways? Because like the Batman he changes into is like smaller than your dual laners.
I mean it's fine, but like there
Yeah.
were more it was like attacking his combo pieces instead,
Yeah.
which
Makes
I
sense.
felt was more valuable. It's just still just funny, like you expect Gorilla Grodd to flip. Um, I did fuck up at the game at 2, and I accidentally sent him to 3 because I triggered a 2 soul trigger.
I mean, does Batman have a stock swap?
No, but they had a restander and I double triggered.
Sure.
Right. So I went from like 4-ish to like 3-4, and then I canceled the final attack and I was scared. But yeah, he was 3, so I just killed him after that turn.
Nice, Hanson.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, round 2 I played against 8 Choice Slime. I think like my opponent said he was like pretty new to the game, and I can kind of tell like early on like he was like siding my characters when I feel like he didn't need to. So
Mhm.
like I got like a lot of like extra plus off that, and like it kind of got me quite a bit of mileage. Like I was like ahead of damage, which is like really rare for Tokyo Revengers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got him to level 3 first, and then he went ahead and like stock swapped me. But like he, I don't know if he like didn't have the finisher, or like he like or something. He just didn't like go for it. So like he kind of just hit me to 3 and I like just ended him after the stock swap.
Cool. All right, round 3. My round 3 was another Bang Dream matchup, but this time it was 8 pants. It was, I think it was like, it was that Lisa Toppin, that freestand stuff, I think it was.
And level 1 tie?
I honestly, I don't remember. And oh yeah, the level 1 was tie, I believe. Yeah, it had to be, because there's no other good level 1 pants combo, right?
I mean, there's a bounce back.
It definitely wasn't a bounce back. I know, so it must have been the top check 3, add 1 to opponent's hand.
Okay.
All I have on the notes for this is that nothing really noteworthy happened. Rushia just like did things. One thing I did note though is that this is one of the games where I summoned Rushia out and was able, not Rushia. Through the Rushia combo, I summoned Fubuki out, and I think for like the next like 2 to 3 turns, I just kept burning them for 1 every single turn because it was free until I could start shuffling cards back into their deck, because they couldn't get rid of the Rushia lane or the Fubuki lane, because Fubuki, when summoned with the support in the back, is 14k plus a backup after that is like you have to deal with over 16.5 to beat it, and then I usually give the 4k to either the Rushia or whatever other lane I have, and then usually if it's on Rushia is like unkillable at that point. It's like 16k before backup. It just gets really annoying, and so those 2 lanes just kept living forever, and I kept leaving 1 lane open, and every time that character lived, I would use Fubuki to do another extra burn every turn from there. But yeah, that was about it, and I won that game.
My next turn was into Corne Marin. I didn't have much on this matchup either. Because Hololive 0 to 2 isn't really anything special. I killed him from 2, so like Marin didn't even have a chance to come out. It was still a standard dual laner game, I think.
All right. My round 3, I played against 8 Standby Ruby. It was like piloted by Mr. Paddywagon. Yeah, and like I think it was like a pretty like typical like standby matchup. Like by like level 2, like I cannot like answer like any of his board, but like luckily like I was able to like get a couple rounds of like stock charges like in like early on, so like I'm like pretty set with like compression and whatnot. I think like one notable thing is like during my finishing turn, like I wasn't sure if he has like if Ruby has like a memory kick or like something of that sort.
Oh, I remember
So
the game. Yeah.
yeah, and so like I was trying to like play around like memory kick counters, and I had to like side all his lanes. Turns out he wasn't playing it, but like Ruby does have a memory kick counter. And as a result, like I think he like lived, but like I think I still had like a couple CXs left in deck.
Yep.
And I think he like kind of misplayed in the end. He was like playing the split top end. He went for like the Ruby clock kick. Well, he probably should have like played the shuffle back, because like I had like just 7 clean cards in the bottom from like the Mikey that he could have like shuffled my deck and like made my deck really uncompressed.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, in the end, like I lived that turn and killed him back in the swing back.
All right. Round 4 now. I ended up playing against surprisingly, this was my first Hololive mirror match, but it was Choice Door. I don't know why I said mirror match, but same title. It was Choice Door, Corone, and Marin Toppin. This is one of the games like I specifically added the Xion bottom decker level 0 into the deck instead of as multiple copies. I think I ran 3 specifically for like these types of matchups, because I felt like a lot of people who play Hololive in other decks that have like cards that gain advantage on death aren't used to their card not like getting that advantage basically. So my opponent like did a thing where he like played multiple zeros with the Aqua level 0, I think even they even played like 2 Aquazirs or something weird like that, and I bottom decked them both. And at that point, my opponent like had very little hand to work with for the rest of the game. But even though they didn't have a lot of hand to work with, for some reason, when I was at 1-3 with 7 climaxes still in my deck, I got hit to 2-6 and was like, "Oh, interesting game. This kind of sucks. I'm being punished for no reason." Luckily, though, I was able to bottom deck some stuff with Watame and bottom deck bombs again, and then basically Rushia them to death and got like really big swings to go off from there. I did know that the last turn I surprisingly killed them from I think like 2-5 was it 2-5 because I hit them for 9 damage that turn and all of it stuck even though they had like 7 climaxes still in the deck also. So I guess I kind of like paid them back for hitting me from 1-3 to 2-6 early. But that was a really weird game when that happened. But sometimes you get Weissed and you shuffle back can randomly be really strong for no reason. So, all right.
My round was into 8-door Bang Dream. See, this matchup is scary because they have a 2-1 stock swap. But I kind of limit tested that round. So like 0-1 was pretty standard. He's playing Christmas Cosme, so it was like he pluses, I kill it. We go on. We're 2 now. We're like low 2s, 2, 3. I'm 11 stock. I was like, all right. I attacked 3 times, so like I'm kind of 6 stock. I go to 14 stock. I leave myself 6 or 7 climaxes and 17 cards. I don't remember the exact number. I was like, all right, stock swap me. You can't kill me. He's not level 3. Then he early plays, slams climax, stock swaps. I'm left with 3 cards in deck. I was expecting to only have 1 left, but I actually had 2 climaxes in there, so I only went to low 3. But as it is, he's like 2-4 now, and with like 14 stock, that's still Baji, double Mikey, and a single Mitsuya, and which was enough to kill from 2-4.
Yeah. I think my round 4, I played against Gate Standby Data Lie. And
Interesting.
It was like double top end, like it's obviously the Kurumi Standby, and then it was the Fujimi Kurumi like Gate top end as well.
What does that do?
I think it's like
Restand?
No, it's modular. It's either like depending on what your clock is, it's like Icy Tail, or you shuffle back a card from your waiting room. Yeah, so that game early on, I think like the ban list actually hurts like Data Life like so much. Like it's like early game was like pretty like uninteresting. Like even as like a standby deck, like I don't think he could have like pressured my board like post counter. And like the only coolest thing is like standbying out to Kurumi at level 2 and like stock swap me like there. But I also wasn't sure if like him doing that to me was necessarily the right choice, because like he was like kind of high too, and I don't think he could have like killed me through it. So like basically what happened is like he like resolved through me, stock swap me, and then like hit me to 3, but like I had like all my stuff set up, so like I just killed him off this crack back.
I think that's the cool thing about dual laners. You can just kill them if they mess up, or like you just live.
I mean, yeah.
Like it's pretty consistent. You're just dead, kid.
I mean, yeah, if they're like high 2s, like, and like they don't have like defensive counters, they're just dead.
And that was round 4.
Yep.
Yeah.
Round 5 here. I played against Slime, and when my opponent discarded, it looked like it was Standby Slime, and I was like, this is going to be kind of annoying because I haven't played this matchup enough. Even when it was like actively played more in Japanese. I didn't play against it like locally or anything. I have the idea of what the deck does, and I know it's kind of annoying top end with the Drago Buster. But it turns out it was not 8 standby. It was standby door, and the door was for a level 2 combo. The deck,
Oh, level 2 Milim?
yes,
The Mocha, right?
Yeah.
yes, that card was actually really interesting, and I think
Mhm.
if the matchup wasn't Rushia, like if I wasn't playing Rushia and able to like create these boards that were like basically unkillable, this is another matchup where Fubuki put in a lot of work. But I wasn't able to make these boards where like multiple lanes were really hard to get over. I feel like the slime deck was like very suited to like, I guess I hate using the word two, but like does it really got at being like a strong level 2 tempo deck to start pushing damage. I so basically the best way I want to describe the deck is like a mid-range aggro deck. If I guess that's the best way to describe it. But because I have Fubuki in the deck and I was able to summon out as soon as I hit 2 using the Rushia combo, I basically made 2 lanes unkillable almost every turn. So my opponent had to like basically commit multiple cards to be able to kill my Rushias and Fubukis. And every time that happened, I either like hand on cord or like 3 costs because I didn't care at that point, and just kept pushing after that. And because they had to spend so much resources to like basically fight my board, I was like, by the time they were like in their level 3s, they didn't have any resources to really play more level 3s or heal down, and they just kind of had to like sit there and take the damage, and their hand was like almost nothing. So it finally got to the point where like I basically out attritioned them, where they didn't have resources to like, even though I was level like 3, I was completely safe still because they had no resources to really attack 3 times, or like even play climax even if they were able to attack 3 times. So yeah, Fubuki literally I feel like won me that match into the unknown. But I think if I was playing some other like conventional 8 what do I say, like a 8 1k1 deck or something like that, I think at that point it would have been a lot harder for me to win. But it was a really interesting deck. So yeah, I won that game, and after that run I was 4-1.
Yeah, when Slime 2 first came out, the first deck I tried was the old pants into the level 2 door,
Mhm.
like the compression deck. The door was pretty sick.
I mean, is that level 2 door just trying to beat like budget simple gear kind of?
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
idea as the simple gear, and then like, it gives you that, because before you were running the pants door, like pants empty door or the single Milim door,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it made the doors actually do something. I ended up swapping back because the 2-1s just ate too many slots for it, and they didn't heal. It kind of like went against what the deck wanted to do, even though what it was doing was good.
Yeah, their deck was very more focused on the 2-1. Like they were,
Yeah.
whenever they hit like when they do like the 6 triggers at level 1, they hit standby. They standby out the 2-1. So like when they went into level 2, they had I think they literally had 3 2-1s or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, damn, that was like pretty consistent to do that. And they obviously had the door, and yeah, but the board was really hard to break. Oh, I guess one thing to note too, I think the reason they had that event too, that they get like 1k power times number of characters or something as a backup. I assume they put that in there like as a defensive counter, but because I was able to set up before them, so it didn't matter that they had that counter, and they used it offensively to kill me, or like kill my Risha and kill my Fubuki. But like I said, I had like 3 costs in hand on core, so
Yeah. It's called my round was into Ruby, and this was the start of my slope downhill. So in this game, I'm currently on 2 Bajis, and then I triggered one of them early on, and I decided not to pay it out because I was like, all right, I have a second one. I have the split soul salvage, and I'll get the second one whenever. I don't see it all game. I don't see my drop salvage all game. And then come level 2 turn, I trigger it again. And then at this point, even if I paid it out, I didn't have the ability to grab it to hand. So I go into my level 3 turn, my opponent's like 2-2-ish, and I have no Bajis. So I had to loop the Mitsuya drop, the Mitsuya, basically. just like keep on milling and using the back row to salvage it back. I ended up getting him to 3-6, but I was just short one, and then I lost the round.
Oh, pretty unlucky. I think
Yeah.
my
Oh,
round. Yeah.
I also did not get any of my counters to hand because they were all stuck in deck, and so
Oh,
like I couldn't defend my Chikuyus throughout the game, and I had to spend a lot of resources keeping that active.
I see.
Cat Plus was sick for that, but I also ate more damage because of that.
Mhm. Yeah. My round 5, I played against Damachi. I think like this specific matchup is like really free for like TRV because like Damachi can't like really do anything against you. Like their bells are like big, but like you don't really care because you can like beat over the bells like every turn, and like they kind of have to like try and recoup resources. Plus, like their like whole game plan is like just like looping bells, so like they always have like level ones on board, like even like they're in twos and threes, so like you like get like really good nice like side attacks, like even like when you had to go in and whatnot. And like overall like you can also just amass like resources like pretty freely. So like it kind of just went the typical like TRV game, and like I was able to like just kill him from like mid twos.
Nice. All right, is this round 6 now?
Yeah.
Okay. Round 6, I end up playing against Ruby Door standby. Door standby. This is actually a pair up for me. My opponent was undefeated, being 5-0, and I was 4-1 at the time. The entire game was super solid. Like we're both basically playing like out of our minds for the most part, because I have to win every game at this point if I want to top 8, and my opponent's obviously undefeated, so he wants to win this round, so he's guaranteed top 8. Game is basically going pretty standard. Things are happening, but there's a point where I'm able to shuffle back 8 back into his deck when he's level 2. When I was already, I think it was like already like level 3 or so, or about to hit level 3. And his deck only had 1 climax in it, so I shuffle back 8 in and just like do the big swings, and a lot of them stuck. And I got him. I forgot where he started at, but it hit him to 3-6. Unfortunately, couldn't close the game out there, but I felt pretty safe because I'm like on a 2-card deck, and my new reshuffled deck is going to be, what's it called? My reshuffled deck is going to be really compressed because I had stock, full hand, and everything. He decides to. Oh, one of the I should say too, like one of the big things too that made it really annoying for my opponent. I'm sorry. Also, I think this was my opponent was Ian, also a Texas local who's really good. Who, like I said,
Ruby guy, right?
Yep, the Ruby guy, Ian, I believe.
Yeah, he's Tristan's twin brother.
Oh yeah.
That was
yeah, I forgot they are brothers. I shuffled back in all his important level 3s and got a lot of them to get stuck in the clock, so he had less access to those level 3s going into that turn. It was something active. Like when I was like going through his waiting room to add those cards back into his deck, I was like, well, I'm gonna probably stick a lot of damage this turn, and this lot of stuff is gonna go to his clock. Instead of getting trash cards, I tried to find more important cards, and then a lot of them did get stuck to the to his clock, and he didn't have access to them, so he couldn't really do the standby combo as well. Unfortunately, he was able to get out that 3-2 that has like the choice of like you can do Icy Tail for 5, right? I have a 2-card deck left with 0 climaxes in it. He Icy tells me for the 5. I mill the 2, obviously 0. But then on my new deck, the bottom 3 cards, there was 2 climaxes. So I go from I think it was like 2-6 or something to 3-2. And then I was at 3-2. He hits me for 2 off the Icy Tail and the refresh, so it goes to 3. So I was actually put to 3-5. He attacks in a weird order where he has the pay 2, ditch 2, burn 2, level 3 on the board. and then like a one soul beater and another level. The level 3 he did the icy tail on. He instead of attacking with the pay 2 ditch 2 burn 2, he attacked with the level 3 icy tail, and I rest countered him to rest the center card or the burn 2 card, leaving him with only the one soul beater. The attack for God, I can't remember if he triggered or not. If he triggered on the last attack, or was I died? I either died to the 3/2 swinging in, even though I countered, or he triggered a soul trigger that killed me and putting me from 3/5 to 3/7 on the one soul. I one or the other, but either way, I ate 2 damage, like exactly 2 to lose that game there. I was kind of annoyed because it's like, damn, I died to like literal like little refresh deck into Icy Tail, and I hate that. But you know, it is what it is. I ended up going 4-2 at that point, and then at that point, I'm pretty sure I'm just out of the running to make top 8. But there's only 1 round left, so I'm gonna keep going. But that game was really good. I felt pretty good the entire game, but just unfortunate at the end there for me.
Yeah. Well, Hanson can tell us about the next round because that's when those are mirror.
All right, should I just go ahead then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, tell us.
All right, yeah, it's round 6. I played Dan, the TRB dual laners like mirror match, and yeah, that game didn't go so well for Dan, and like he kind of just ate damage.
Yeah,
the whole game. Like you got to like high 3s while I was like still level 1.
You were 1/6 when I had to try to kill you.
Holy.
Yeah, so
you almost did kill me though.
I got Hanson to 3/6 and I realized I probably could have killed him, but I was a little bitch, so I didn't. What happened was Hanson was 2
like 2-4, 2-5.
No. When I decided to side to keep you at 2, like you were 2-2. Right. Yeah, I think you were 2-2 because I wanted to side you and keep you at like 2-4.
Oh yeah.
Or 2-3. But then I triggered a soul trigger, which put you to no, you were 2-3. I wanted to side for 2, keep you at 2, and live the extra turn. But then I hit a soul trigger on my Baji side. And then you ended up 2-6, and I had to go for the kill from there. And then you ended up 3-6, whereas if I had fronted, you would have just fucking died. So sad.
Yeah.
Fucking. Oh, that's not even the worst game there. My God. But look, 1-6 to 3-6 or 3-7 is pretty impressive, honestly.
Pretty good. 14 damage is pretty good on a kill turn.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah, that was round 6 for us.
Yeah, I forgot you guys played each other. So yeah, round 7, last round of the day. I end up playing. I actually finally get to play kind of a mirror. I end up playing a Hololive again. It's Flare Rushia instead of Corone Rushia. My opponent was playing the Corone like finger PR card, where you take a card from your hand and stuff it underneath to make it like 8K. You guys know that card? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, sorry, the GP name's Yubi. English is like, I want your fingers.
Yeah. So we talked about it afterwards. He played it specifically for the Mishoku matchup, and he says it was doing wonders that day. But anyway, unfortunately for him, I played the thing that minuses 1 level, and he played one of those on the board. I played the bottom deck. First thing I did was drop search for the bottom deck bomb, and I was like, please hit. And I played it, and it hit, so I -1 level to that, and then bottom decked it. So he went -2 there, which was really really unfortunate for him. And I also bottom decked one of his aquas earlier, but he was very good at hitting brainstorm, so he had a lot of hands still for the most part. But yeah, also I think in the matchup too, Flare is generally like sitting at 7 to 8K as well, depending how many brainstorms you have in the back row. So I'm sure like throughout the day he was winning a lot of basically board at level 1 for the most part because he had counters and stuff, but a lot of that didn't really matter to me because of the bottom deck bomb, and I didn't really care that much to search too much off of my Corone level 1 combo. I think I got like 1 or 2 searches off that entire game, but my hand was already set up early on to start dropping Rushia. But outside of that, it was just one of those games where I was able to set up board before he did, and he was already like kind of like losing some resources early on because he was like getting 2-for-1 basically. Uh, and at that point, my Rishas were just like basically unkillable because this is another game where I summoned Fubuki out and made sure I had 2 lanes that just would never die, and then after that, he just kind of died there.
Yeah. My next game was also it was into Hololive. It was a boats on Marine deck, right? But that part didn't even matter. So part of TRV is you want to get your stalkers out as soon as possible, right? And I did not get a single Chifuyu, a single one of the stalkers, no drop salvage, nor any of my Rickies the entire game. And so from level 0 to 2, I was using the Baji, the hand adder, which I also failed half of my checks. Failed half my checks, meaning I also triggered those CXs. And then I'm like 2-2 with 4 stock to my opponent's like level 1 because he's canceled 5 of my 6 attacks. And then after that I get 1 turn of Chifuyus. I go to level 3. My opponent is now 1-4. And I think it was something like 2-10. So I had to go for the kill turn there, and he finished the game less than 2. So it was a wild game.
Yeah. My round 7, I played against like Mushoku Tensei again,
hmm
and I think like this game, it was like going like fairly well for me like early on. Like I don't remember much, but like I remember like the damage parity like being fairly like even, and like I was like compressing like fairly well. And like I guess the interesting part was that like around like mid twos, like my opponent started like sculpting for like 2 or 3 Rugers to like clock himself up to like 3, which is like something Mushoku can do, like to try and like stock swap the TRV player. But like I think the thing he doesn't realize is like after he stock swap, he like has to kill me that turn, which he couldn't do. So like, and if you just like hit like TRV to 3, like you basically just lost the game because you've clocked yourself to 3. So like that's kind of what happened. And, like he just died after that turn.
Then that was final round 7.
Yeah, that was
Only
fine.
only one of us that made it to top 8 was our boy Hanson. How'd that go?
Yeah, the top 8 was like pretty unfortunate, I think. Top 8, like there was like 3 Mushokus in top 8, and like I played against like one of them. It was like a pretty like uninteresting early game. Like you kind of expect like it to go how it goes. Like Mushoku like kind of walling you out, but like you not really caring because you can just kind of, as long as you're like pushing damage, it's like fine. I think it got to like at one point, like at least like good thing is like uh the Mushoku player wasn't like that compressed the whole game because like he couldn't like pay out some of his like dirty CXs that he triggered like mid game, and like he wasn't that compressed. So like when he hit me to 3, he was like he like refresh was like only 4 CXs, and he was like around like 2-4. So I thought like I would like he's like basically dead, which yeah, but as we all know, like he ended up winning because like the finishing turn actually ended up like horrible for me. I think I started like my turn was like around like 5 cards in deck. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play my like Mitsias. I knew I had like 1 CX out of the 5 cards, and I wasn't like keeping track of like the other triggers. And turns out, a double Mitsia milled 4 clean cards, and like burns for 0.
That is a mood.
Yeah. And then after that, I realized I was one hand short for like the Mikey Bachi, so I had to like brainstorm. But like at least like there's like one CX left, so like that wasn't a big deal. And then I went into like my new deck. It's like I played down 2 Metias before, so like I'm like still like fairly compressed. Like I had like 6 CXs left in deck, so even if I don't kill him, I think like I have a fairly decent chance to live. But and I also think like I had a fairly decent chance to kill him. He had like even though I missed my Meteor burns, he's like 4 CXs in deck, and I had like still like a lot of damage output. But it turns out like I like I think it was like I sided up like my first Mikey into like a level 0 airs Fury he had, and like I burned 1, he took the 1, and I trigger a double soul trigger, and he canceled the 4. Next up, I sided a level 3, burned 1, and then obviously like no trigger at 0s, so I side for 0. And the Baji lane I front, trigger double soul trigger, he cancels on like 4 or 5. And now I go into the last Mikey, swing, burn 1 5 times, he like double cancels there. Or like maybe single cancels, and now he has like 1 CX left. And he was like 2-3, and then like I triggered like another double soul trigger, and like he cancels on 4 again. So now like he basically canceled like all my big swings, and I like basically triple triggered, so I just died on the backswing.
Oh
Feels
my
bad.
God. That was rough. I know Dan and I were watching. We were both like, Hanson's got this. Oh, this is game's over. Oh my God, how did he die?
How did he die?
Yeah, I remember seeing those big swings and being like, oh my God, please, why is this happening? No, Hanson, our boy. He was the chosen one. All right. Well, that was our Texas run. Did it kind of like pan out what you guys thought as far as the meta win and everything, right? Run into
Yeah, the deck was pretty meta representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, overall, Texas was a good trip, and
Fun.
yeah, kind of going into the same meta stuff. I was actually surprised I didn't see as much Kanata Marin. Did you guys see a lot of that, like in general on the tables? Were there even that many in top 8?
I mean,
there were 3 in top 8. Wait, no.
I mean, 3 Hololives in top 8 or something.
Yeah. Tyler was one.
All Kanata Marin.
Okay, yeah, maybe all the Kanata Marins there just made top 8, and I dodged them all.
No, it wasn't all Kanata Marin. I saw.
There was.
I have the list somewhere.
There, I know there was 2.
I mean, it's on Weiss Tea time, right?
Yeah. There was 2. Yeah. There was 2 Mishoku, both a standby. We got first and second. Don. Okay, and they were both Kanamarin.
One was
Kanamarin and Watame Marin.
One was Watame Marin.
Oh, Watame Marin. Okay. And then the other top 8 was the Ruby I played in round 6, Ian, and then like we said, Tyler Kantamara, Damachi, Riaz, our boy Riaz.
8 standby Mishoku.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 Mishoku, 2 Hololive, 1 Damachi, 1 Ruby, and 1 TRB. Dual laners. So like that's pretty representative of the meta, I believe. Now we just gotta work in Quint. Somehow Quint's probably takes over Ruby, maybe Damachi as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think Quince is gonna be a very significant portion of like the topping list now.
I also wouldn't be surprised if like Kanamari and rep went up. Dual laner rep might stop because the deck is feeling like good, but not amazing.
Yeah, I've always kind of described after playing against it so much, it just seems like it's a coin flip deck. You get to a point, and then you and your opponent flip a coin to see who wins the match. But what it's chairman said that it's supposed to be your favor as a TRV player, but it still
It
feels
is a favored coin flip.
yeah. Yeah,
It's just
but
that in the bad games, you can't do anything about it.
yeah, those are like you can't stabilize right or anything. And I know the deck had some issues with like hand fixing, right?
They are slight issues. Given there are like texts that you can solve with that, and
Mhm.
I still need to like the deck more. But I'm still like in the line of this. This when games go bad, they go bad, real bad. So
Yeah.
I don't know how consistently you'll see this deck in the future. Um, we're not the only like what's it called scene looking into the deck. I know there's been Japan list, Singapore list, Taiwan list. I think I forgot what country it was in, but half of the top 8 of some big tournament was dual laners. So
I mean,
maybe
yeah,
it just
like
needs time to get solved.
I mean, I still expect like it to like probably have some like showing. Like I know like California is like pretty big on this list. Like there's a lot of European like players like playing this list as well. So like I still expect it to like probably show up here and there. But like I think it's for the most part it's like not that popular and you don't expect to see it.
Yeah, it plays so non-standard too. So like unless you devote the time to playing it, it becomes a little hard to play it sometimes, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, I think that is it for our recap of Houston. I think the next time we'll have one of these will be for Chicago. I should be there if my cards show up on time. If not, then I don't know if I'll be in Chicago. But I know Dan. Were you going, Dan? I know Hanson
I
was
am
not.
going.
Okay, so Dan will be there, and I know a lot of the Burn One people will be there. Nika will be back, so we'll see if we can try to get him on. We have to, because he's been gone for work, basically selling himself to the U.S. government. But I think that is it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Later, everyone.
Peace.